Welcome to another episode with the Bootleg Corner, the Bootleg Corner. Just take out time to remind you, if you haven't, to scroll down or scroll up depending on how your screen is. Hit the subscribe button, turn on the post notifications, and wait for the daily updates on our latest reviews, recommendations, and general film commentary. Movie recommendation hours yet again. And now, for those of you with knowledge of history, you already know the story. For those of you without, this is a gentle and yet brutal introduction into one of the most pivotal events in the early centuries regarding the Roman Empire. Barbarians is the name of this series, a German production which as it suggests, is focused on the barbarians of Europe and their actions in their times. A series set in earlier times, capturing the evolution of the German barbarians as they rose from a scattered band of people split across tribes and villages to a heavy and vicious fighting force capable of repelling, then invading, and even overthrowing the Roman Empire. We'll be looking at several bullet points that made this possible, which you will see in the movie series. The first is leadership. This growth cannot happen overnight, as they have to combat their fear, their size, their history, and weigh the benefits and losses of such resistance, as well as the greed and possible betrayal of their kinsmen. There is also the big question of leadership. Who is brave enough, wise enough, or even crazy enough to lead such a campaign against the Roman Empire, which is most likely doomed to fail? What kind of man can inspire and command the loyalty and fealty of over 100 villages and clans to follow him into battle? As you watch the series, you will see that these clans already have their leaders and chieftains as well as their pride. So to convince such proud men to follow another man when they already have little kingdoms of their own, no matter how small to rule, is no easy task. And you will see it watching this series that the leader will have this going against him. No matter how much dreams he can sell, he can only go so far. These people already have their little kingdoms, their little clans, their little villages, which they might feel comfortable ruling. So he will have his tax cut out for him. Now, as to alliances, new alliances will have to be made. Old ones might be broken. Easiest way for alliances in such times, and even in current times, has been marriage, and will still be marriage in this series. And one such marriage will have to happen for the leader of this ragtag band of warriors to have any sense of unity and cooperation. Another bullet point is betrayal. There will be people who prefer the Roman Empire or think that betraying their comrades to the empire may get them rewarded handsomely. Throughout history, this is a common theme in any struggle, and in the barbarians, this is no different. People who are in love with oppression or too broken and brainwashed by their enemies' seeming invincibility will do anything and everything to scuttle the movement and avoid conflict. If you look around the world, if you're a student of history, study any rebellion, any movement against organized oppression, and you will find that there were people within those struggles who went the opposite way and betrayed their comrades for whatever little benefit they might have gotten them. Now, as to indifference, there might be people who not them let me not even say there might, because there were people in this series who were way too comfortable with oppression. No matter how much the Romans would push them on taxes and tributes, they will never rebel until it became the only option. And even at that, some might still say they are not going to rebel no matter the cost. The Romans will impose the cruelest strictures in this series, and some would rather eat sand than join the rebels. Even if it meant they had to give the Romans all their possessions, they will do it without any complaint. Now, the most important theme in this series is the war. The commander of such a rebellion will have to be someone who knows something of war and strategies. The Roman Empire was not one of the most enduring dynasties for nothing. They knew how to wage war and did so effectively with great success. So the leader of the barbarians could not afford to be a loafer. This is not the movie where they tried to use plot armor and barrage their way to it. You cannot give amateur control of the barbarians without the required tactics and knowledge. So this is one thing to keep an eye on. Now, plot, characters, believability, pacing, fight scenes, you should know how it goes. Everything is in place as it should be. The plot is perfect. The characters fit in as they should. Believability, as you know, on 100. The pacing is good and fit enough for this movie. The fight scenes are bloody, grimy, and very raw. This is a German production, and I'm all the more grateful for that. There is a raw and gritty theme this movie has that I'm not sure Hollywood would have handled just as well. So the production was literally perfect for a series of this caliber. The movie, again, Barbarians, is a series detailing how the barbarians fought and conquered the Roman Empire at the time. It's still the Bootleg God on the Bootleg Corner. This is a 10/10 series for me, and I'm sure it will be the same for you. Get to the YouTube, subscribe, hit the movie recommendations playlist, and you will find something just for you. Still the Bootleg God on the Bootleg Corner. Like, subscribe, get the YouTube.